What's up, guys? So, I bring this up every couple of years or so, and I made a post on Instagram, I think it was a couple weeks ago, um, about this, and it got a little ticky tacky in the comments. Especially nowadays, I think it's important to point these things out with how prevalent this fucking dumbass primal carnivore movement shit is. It almost never fails that anytime I see a carnivore, like they are very, very, very malnourished looking, and that's not a surprise to me at all. Um, and I'm not saying don't eat whole foods, so don't cast me in this light of, oh, he's anti eating whole foods and blah blah blah. Just these strict carnivore bros who are like deathly afraid of seed oils and stuff crack me up. And again, almost none of them look like they ever have any sort of results or look like they lift. They're very skinny. A lot of them are skinny fat, and they're like the size of my leg if they're lucky, with rare exception. So that said, these nutrition facts that you're looking at, maybe I posted a picture. Maybe there's pictures covering me up right now. Um, there's a lot of nutrition here. A lot. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. There's, the macro ratio isn't necessarily the best, but it isn't bad either. But what really gets me is like the amount of micronutrients and specifically the amount of minerals that are in this. And I don't know the going rate of these days. Back when I used to consume them, they were $1. That's how long it's been. Maybe I even got some $2 ones at some point. But I don't eat this stuff. I've not been to McDonald's to eat food at all this year. I've gotten some iced coffees, but I've not consumed. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've consumed any fast food at all this year. I don't think I have. I've eaten out at restaurants, but not fast food. That said, it's a McDouble, and bang for your buck nutrition. It doesn't get much better than this. Like I said, especially the amount of minerals you're getting. The micronutrients are really good too. There's a decent amount of protein in there. Again, the ratios of fat, carbs, and protein may be a little bit not the hottest, depending upon what your goals are. If you are in a bulk boy mode, I mean, my gosh, this is going to be incredible. And this is where the problem comes in with fast foods, with processed foods, with seed oils. It's not that something being processed doesn't necessarily make it bad. Something being man-made doesn't necessarily make it bad. Something having seed oils in it doesn't necessarily make it bad. And, tell those carnivore bros to squat my bench press and I'll listen to them. A lot of the foods that contain these are very calorically dense. And that, eating in excess of calories causes obesity, which comes with a litany of health issues. That's where the problem lies, is overconsumption of calories. Seed oils aren't inherently bad. Again, man-made isn't inherently bad. You can have these things and thrive, and that's what I want to get to as well. A typical fucking carny bro. Well, there's no such thing as a necessary carb. You don't need carbs to survive, and blah 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 blah. Like, we're not fighting for survival. This isn't a matter of life or death. We're out here trying to thrive. We're trying to gain muscle. We're trying to physically perform beyond, regular ass human capabilities. And carbohydrates are going to help facilitate that. It is your body's preferred fuel source. It's your brain's preferred fuel source. And honestly, you're going to be a healthier person consuming carbs anyway, necessary or not necessary. There's a lot of carb sources that have a lot of micronutrients in them, et cetera, et cetera. Like, shunning carbs for the sake of shunning carbs because you don't need them to survive is like the lowest tier, dumbest, memeiest reason to not eat carbohydrates. If you want to avoid processed foods and chemicals, spoiler alert, everything's a fucking chemical. By all means, go ahead. And in doing so, you're probably going to avoid, very calorically dense foods for the most part. And that's what's going to keep you healthy, is maintaining a healthy body weight and hopefully eating a balanced diet. It's not the, avoiding of, seed oils that are going to, give you ball cancer. After you eat them tomorrow, you're going to, go face up. And that's not how it works. It gets old hearing about that. But anyway, the McDoubles, again, bang for your buck. It's a great fucking food. There's plenty of fuel there, whether you're pre-workouting, post-workouting, maybe not intra-workout, but I've seen stranger things being in powerlifting gyms. And the one thing with McDonald's in particular, and I've heard Sam Sheether say this too, and I found it to be the same. Of all the fast foods, like, McDonald's tends to not make me feel super shitty. Don't get me wrong, if like I go on a bender and I eat like a bazillion things, that's just a matter of the quantity of it. But I tend to not feel bogged down eating McDonald's, whereas some other establishments, maybe it does feel not the greatest. And now I'm not somebody who's, again, I haven't ate fast food all year, but even with McDonald's, I'm not somebody who would go there like every day or anything like that. So I don't know, there is the science teacher guy who did it every day and he was fine and he lost weight and his health markers improved and all of that jazz, because he was controlling his calories. And he did it for like 6 months and that worked out great for him. But it seems to be easy on the stomach, in my opinion. And it's one of my go-tos. Like, my last 2 water cuts I've done, I've refueled at McDonald's. I have a drink concoction that I take with me to weigh-ins, and I drink it first, after I weigh in. And I eat some carbs the night before weigh-ins, just with no liquids, because typically I'm a little bit underweight. And I'll have those carbs already in me and sodium ready to soak up the liquids. But after that, I go to McDonald's, because you can get a lot of calories, a lot of carbohydrates, and a lot of sodium for a relatively low price. These days, it's not as low as it used to be. And that's what your body is looking for performance: carbs, sodium, calories, and water, and of course, you're drinking water with it. So even like in a temporary situation, for a strength athlete, I think McDonald's is fucking golden. Like, if you're somebody who eats an hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours, a fairly sizable meal, for performance reasons, strength performance, I think McDonald's, even if you don't want it to be as heavy on your stomach, that it's calorically dense, it really does go down easy. Like, that shit melts in your mouth. So you can have a smaller amount of food with a higher amount of carbs and sodium in you, ready to go and perform before getting there. So I think, I know this has been kind of scatterbrained and all over the place, which is typical for me, but don't sleep on McDonald's as a performance food if you're a strength athlete. And fingers crossed, I'm going to get a strength athlete on here with me maybe this weekend, and we are going to discuss this a bit more in depth. Peace!